It was once a luxurious ocean liner carrying people across the Atlantic for less than $2 a day. Today, it's a permanently docked museum ship filled with terrifying tales of ghost sightings. This is the Queen Mary, California's haunted ship. Imagine a world without planes or trains where the only way to cross the vast ocean was by boat. Imagine traveling in style through the waves on a ship so luxurious you'd feel like royalty. It would take 7 days to sail from Southampton, England, to New York City. But during that time, passengers would enjoy 5-star accommodations. The staterooms were spacious by today's standards and came complete with private bathrooms. There were restaurants serving delectable meals, a swimming pool, gym, and even an onboard hospital. The largest ocean liners could carry more than 2,000 passengers. And during their time at sea, they'd be waited on by 900 crew members. It was the height of luxury travel. But as the 20th century wore on, airplanes became more popular for crossing the Atlantic, which meant fewer passengers for the big ships. Then came World War II, which saw many of the ocean liners converted into military vessels. After the war ended, people still preferred flying to traveling by boat, which left the ocean liners with very few passengers. Eventually, they were no longer profitable to operate, and the ships were sold. In 1967, the ocean liner known as the Queen Mary arrived in Long Beach, California. She had been sailing the seas since 1936 and had become a relic of a bygone era. Instead of being scrapped, the ship was turned into a hotel and a tourist attraction. Today, visitors can walk around the ship and explore what life was like when it was a luxury liner. They can stay overnight in one of the ship's staterooms, dine in the restaurant, and relax by the pool. It feels just like stepping back in time. But there are some things that haven't been able to be explained away. For over 50 years, people have reported strange occurrences on board the ship, especially in stateroom 33514. That's not a stateroom number that makes any sense. The highest room number on the ship is 314. So why does everyone keep talking about room 3514? Is it a prank, or is there something really going on here? That's what we're going to find out. Let's go back to the beginning. In 1936, the Queen Mary set sail on her maiden voyage. Back then, she was the largest ship in the world. It was exciting for everyone involved, including the captain, the crew, and the passengers. But no one could have predicted what happened next. Within hours of leaving port, a lifeboat was launched after a woman was seen jumping off the ship. The passenger had been drinking heavily and was spotted by a crew member leaning over the side of the ship. He tried to stop her, but she slipped out of his grasp and disappeared into the water. Her body was never recovered. Many believe her spirit is haunting the ship to this day. People have reported hearing screams in the middle of the night that sound exactly like the woman who jumped off the ship. Some say the ghost of the woman can be seen pacing the deck late at night. There's even a story about a crew member who saw her ghost standing in the doorway of room 33514. The room has a dark history. In the early days of the ship, it was home to the wireless operator John Petter Chadwick. John was responsible for sending and receiving messages via radio. It was a vital job because it allowed passengers to communicate with family and friends back home. But it was also dangerous. Working the radio equipment emitted powerful electromagnetic waves that could interfere with the ship's navigation system. To prevent this, John was instructed to keep the radio room locked at all times, but he often broke the rules and left the door open. One day, an electrical fire broke out in the radio room. It spread quickly, and soon the entire ship was ablaze. The fire killed 13 people, and when the ship finally docked in New York, John was fired. He was blamed for starting the fire, even though he wasn't working the radio that day. To make matters worse, he died a few months later, possibly from injuries sustained while trying to escape the flames. His death certificate lists the cause as asphyxiation and acute bronchitis. Some say the stress of losing his job and the guilt he felt for starting the fire caused him to fall ill and eventually die. Others say he didn't die at all. They say he was so ashamed for starting the fire that he committed suicide. Ever since, people have reported seeing the ghost of John in room 33514. But that's not the only reason people are afraid to book the room. In 1989, a man named Roger Schneeweiss checked into the hotel. He and his wife were excited to spend the night on such a historic ship. But as soon as they stepped into the room, they felt something was wrong. The air was heavy and oppressive, and they couldn't shake the feeling they were being watched. As they settled in, they noticed a strange smell, like mildew and decay. Then they heard footsteps pacing back and forth right outside their door. It sounded like someone was walking around the room non-stop, always just out of sight. The Schneiders didn't want to be scared, so they tried to rationalize what they were hearing. Maybe it was just another couple enjoying the unique accommodations. Maybe it was a crew member working late into the night. They decided it was probably nothing, and they went out for dinner. When they returned to their room, they found the door wide open. The bed was rumpled as if someone had been sleeping in it, and the pacing had stopped. They thought maybe it was just their imagination, and they went to bed. That's when things got weird. Roger woke up in the middle of the night and heard a loud crash followed by footsteps running down the hallway. Terrified, he got out of bed and started banging on the door. No one answered. He called out for help, but no one came. He was alone in the room with whatever was making those noises. Finally, the commotion outside the door stopped and Roger went back to bed. In the morning, he told the staff about what had happened, but they said it was impossible. They hadn't received any calls during the night, and there was no record of anyone else staying in the room. Roger and his wife checked out immediately. That's just one of many stories like this that have come out of room 3514. There was even an episode of Ghost Adventures filmed in the room, and the crew couldn't get enough evidence to disprove the paranormal activity. All the evidence pointed to the fact that room 33514 was haunted, so it's no surprise that it's one of the most requested rooms to be booked by those looking for a spooky stay. But let's step away from the room for a minute and talk about the rest of the ship. After all, it's not the only place where paranormal activity has been reported. One of the most popular spots is the first-class lounge. It's a large room with high ceilings and ornate decorations. In the early days of the ship, it was a place where wealthy passengers could relax and socialize. Now it's home to the ghosts of a young couple who died in a fire. The ghost of Helen Viola can be seen sitting in a chair near the fireplace, and the ghost of her lover, Francis, can be heard playing the piano. Another active area is the first-class pool. It's located on the sun deck and is surrounded by lounge chairs and tables. During the day, visitors can take a dip in the pool and relax. But at night, the pool becomes a dangerous place. The ghost of a young girl who drowned in the pool can be seen playing at night. She's often seen with other children who are rumored to haunt the ship. Visitors have reported hearing the sounds of children laughing and playing, as well as seeing their ghosts running around the deck. Then there's the engine room. It's located deep in the bowels of the ship and is filled with the ghosts of the crew members who worked there. The engine room is a dark, dank place that was once filled with the sounds of clanking metal and hissing steam. Now it's silent, except for the occasional moan of the wind. Visitors have reported hearing the ghosts of the crew members working late into the night. Sometimes they even see their ghosts standing near the machinery, just as they did when they were alive. There are other places on the ship where paranormal activity has been reported, but these are some of the most active spots. If you visit the Queen Mary, you might want to stay in room 3514. Just be prepared for whatever might happen. The Queen Mary is one of the most haunted places in America, and if you visit, you might be lucky enough to see one of the ghosts that call the ship home. Or maybe you won't, but one thing's for sure, you won't forget your experience on board anytime soon. Thanks for watching. Do you think the Queen Mary is haunted? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.